Welcome to another episode of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and today we are going to be talking about the current state in the meta for Arena. And Arena, in case you need a quick history lesson, for a long time it used to be the whole droids and Poggle team, and then eventually it was Qui-Gon Jinn and his fellow Jedis, and the game matches were going in like under a minute. Like, you can get sniped in under 1 minute due to the insane amount of damage that they can put out, both individual damage and AoE damage, which, by the way, in a previous video I made a mistake. I called it attack on everyone. The technical term is area of effect. So just to clarify that right there. But yeah, coming back to this though, now and then eventually it went on to a whole dodge lead with Ben and Dooku once protection was integrated, even to a point where people were just putting beefy characters behind a dodge lead just to prolong the matches, and those matches would go like 4 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes. And now Palpatine came around, no need to explain that, and now we're at a point where we just have massive AoE attacks just coming out here. Matches can last under a minute depending on what leader and what characters you have, and it's insane. We integrated protection to address this whole speed issue that was going on, and now all it is just massive speed and brutal AoE damage, and it's just absolutely crazy. So what I did the other day is I went ahead and I had Lando. He was at like gear 8. You know, I had him for my for all the heists. You know, I didn't plan on leveling him up. Then one day I just kind of sat there. I had a couple furnaces laying around, and I just decided to pull the trigger and max him out. And well, we're working to maxing him out. Right now he's at gear 10. We'll soon be at gear 11, farming the painful stun cuffs here. And I'm not going to go into an in-depth review. That's going to come later on. He is definitely an awesome character. I will say that now. If you need to, go ahead and farm him. Don't need to wait for my opinion. And I just went ahead, leveled him up. I put a bunch of critical damage mods on him. Right now, he's at 216%, even before considering his leader ability, which grants another 29% critical damage. So he's just absolutely insane. So I added him to my Arena team just about 3 days ago to test him out, and he's crazy. His attacks, his AoE damage, when considering mods and all that fun stuff, and his attack right here, he's able to do almost like 20,000 damage per person, and that's just bananas. And if you see here, we'll talk about this briefly and go into some gameplay, but essentially this is the ability right here this is his bread and butter. This is what the mustache and cape is all about right here, let me tell you. So pretty much what happens is that he deals AoE damage to everyone, and if it scores just one critical hit, the cooldown on this refreshes from 3 to 0, and the next time he uses it, it deals 100% more damage. So he can just constantly spam this, and because of critical damage and critical chance mods and with mods in general, some of the secondary stats, he has a very high chance to have a critical chance. I'm not sure what I have him at now. Let me double check. Yes, we're at 47.7%, so nothing too crazy. I didn't add any critical chance mods to them because I gave them Anakin Skywalker and IG-88. So yeah, let me go ahead and let's just get into some gameplay. I was gonna do a video on various AoE squads you can do. As you can tell, I'm broke now. I spent a lot of money experimenting for you guys, and earlier today I was playing around with a Palpatine lead with Tarkin, IG-80, Vader, and Stormtrooper Han, and it was pretty nice. However, this is the squad that I prefer to use right now, and let's go right into it and show you what I'm talking about. So we're gonna tour with my squad, let you see what I'm doing currently, and see how it fares up against other typical squads like number 4, which we'll go after in a second. And then if we can, I'm gonna try to get to the number 1 position, and the number 1 position, it's deadly. Let me see if it'll load up here. The game's pretty slow lately. Let's see. Oh, I don't think he's up there right now. I believe this is it. Yeah, this squad right here, it's absolutely insane. Even with my Stormtrooper Han being at 230 speed after Lando's bonus, I just can't beat Poe. Poe goes on, does his taunt, and then Wedge, Biggs, and Lando, they get all their AoE attacks, and then Palpatine on top of it, and they can wipe me out in 30 seconds. So we're going to try to get to that point, at least battle this guy. This is the guy you really should try to mimic. He's got such a great squad here, and we'll talk about this in a second. So let's go ahead, check out the matches, and go for number 4. And usually how I do this, in case you need some tips on who to choose in Arena, check out the person Stormtrooper Han, because Stormtrooper Han, he's like that one-trick pony. His main job is to taunt, give everyone turn meter bonus, and afterwards he doesn't do too much until he taunts again. So right now, this guy has his Stormtrooper Han at only 207, so I'm gonna win the coin toss. My Stormtrooper Han's at 230. I'm gonna get the first attacks off, and we'll see if they can survive. And if they get their Qui-Gon Jinn to strip my taunt, it's not too big of a deal. It just feels awfully weird not having Royal Guard anymore. I decided to use IG-88 for the extra AoE damage because I don't have Wedge at all. So we're gonna see how this goes. This is the first day I'm testing out with this lineup right here. So we're just gonna try it out and see how it goes. But Lando overall is super duper amazing. So let's go ahead and try this out. All right. Alrighty, okay, so let's see. So this is how these matches generally go with me, except the top few percentage of people. So we go ahead, we taunt, everyone's got full turn meter, and here comes Lando. The first AoE attack doesn't do that much damage, it's the second one that comes around. So let's go ahead and do the first one. And so far we did 6,000 per person, nothing too crazy. Palpatine comes in with the stun, let's hope we get their Stormtrooper Han, and we did. IG-88 comes in with his AoE damage. We got ability block on Qui-Gon Jinn, so he's not going to strip my taunt, and that's great. Anakin comes in. Since I gave him some critical chance mods, he gave everyone offense up, and unfortunately we got a couple useful people stunned. So let's go ahead and start working on shocking Royal Guard. Let's go ahead and shock Stormtrooper Han. So perfect, they're not going to taunt. We got that all set up. Now let's go ahead and work on Emperor Palpatine. And let's go ahead and check out the second round of Lando using his AoE with critical chance up, with physical damage up, as well as the fact that he's going to do double damage this time. So let's go ahead and check it out. 17,000 damage. Did you see that on Qui-Gon Jinn? We did over 17,000 damage. And this is him at gear 10. Once he gets to gear 11 in a few days, he's just absolutely insane. It's crazy. You know, it's funny, yeah, as I said earlier, we integrated protection. There's Anakin going crazy. We integrated protection to address the speed issue that was going on because matches were lasting so short, and now they're just crazy again. This is obviously taking a bit longer because I want to explain the rationale of me playing in case you guys are just wondering how this lineup works. But it's just crazy. When I'm just playing by myself, not trying to entertain anyone, I can go through these in like a minute depending on who it is, or else I get defeated in under a minute. So but yeah, I'm glad I recommended this to you guys a while ago. When you guys were asking for a rebel farming guide for Emperor Palpatine, I told you guys to get Lando because he's pretty good, and now he's just absolutely amazing. So he should be on your priority list. If you haven't got him and you're working on mods or something, or if you're working on a kind of a random character, you really should get Lando. People are starting to realize that he's the current meta. He doesn't have to be the leader, although it helps that he is a leader, that's for sure. He gives the extra turn meter, the extra speed to Han, as well as the bonus damage to himself, Han, and IG-88, so that it works great. So that's our first battle right there. We got number 4. We're gonna go ahead, take a break, and when we come back, we're gonna try to attack that number 2 team so you can see what a real AoE team can do in this game. So stay around and we'll talk again in a few moments. All right, and we are back, and let's get right into it. So right now we're in place to go ahead and attack number 1, and number 1 is actually a very easy team to beat because they don't have Stormtrooper Han. They're going to be a very slow team. Let's even look at their Palpatine just to make sure. Yeah, they're only at 200 speed for Palpatine, and I'm going to be able to fly past that and even further past that. So I have a feeling that in 20 minutes they're still going to be sitting. Probably they won't be sitting in number 1 anymore. Usually these guys, the number 3 and 2, they're usually kind of playing around the same time I am, and we're probably all going to try to hit number 1 at the same time. So for the time being, we're going to go for number 2. That's the team that I have been having a hard time to beat. Very difficult lineup, and these guys have had these characters for a long time. They had them when they first became pay to play. I'm talking about Wedge in particular. So but I have a feeling people are going to catch up and try to get these squads. Number 2 and 3 are very, very solid. So let's go ahead, try out number 2, and you guys can see what I'm talking about here. I'm probably gonna say it right now, I'm gonna have probably a hard time running this battle, and I might lose. It's just a very difficult squad, and if I do win, it's usually by a fluke that Stormtrooper Han doesn't get stunned, and I can actually have him taunt. So let's go ahead and try this out. Alright, so got the blood pumping. Let's get this done. Alright, here we go. So their Poe's gonna taunt first. Then IG-88's gone. Look at all that. Look at all this damage. Luckily Anakin's able to step in, but it's yeah, it's not gonna work out in my favor. We got offense up. We're gonna get stunned. Yeah, we're done for. We are done for. I can feel it already. So yeah, so we're gonna try to maybe stun a couple people. That might help us out, but usually their Biggs is gonna get so much turn meter. Here we go. We got a taunt finally, but the problem is we got to get through Poe first before we can finally do actual damage to everyone else. And I just killed off my just killed off my Lando, so having a kind of a rough time here. And look at this. Look at all this damage. 10,000, 13,000, 5 bajillion. It's just this squad is just it's pretty amazing. All jokes aside, if you want to be awesome at this game, this is the lineup you should really be focusing on. I'm actually doing a bit better now than I was in the past, but that's not saying much. And there we go, 19,000, 18,000. It just blew me away there. So I usually try to avoid this team. If they're number 1, I try to go for number 2 or number 3 because I'm just wasting a turn. At this point, there's no physical way for me to beat that unless I match that same exact lineup. So so let's go ahead. We're gonna pause it, come back, and hopefully we can go for number 1 and do one more battle and kind of compare what I have against whoever number 1 is. We are back for our final battle, and it looks like number 1, the team that I was saying that was easy to beat, we are going to be able to fight them and hopefully claim number 1 and not get sniped last second. That's my biggest fear. Worst case scenario was a few weeks ago, or actually not even a few weeks ago, it was like 2 weeks ago. I got number 1, and then in like less than a minute before payday, I got destroyed. Less than a minute, I got destroyed, and it was by either the second or third guy that you're seeing on the screen right now. So let's go ahead, pull them up. Let's hope that a battle hasn't started yet between them and someone else. And if we can get in, we are going to claim number 1 today. So let's go ahead and start, and it looks like we are good for takeoff. So all right, Stormtrooper Han gets the taunt in, and here we go with the stun. And we got a couple good stuns there. Let's go ahead and get our first AoE attack in for Lando. Let's go ahead and see if we can ability block someone. No one too important ability block there. There we go. We got a taunt from Royal Guard. That's not a problem. We got Lando coming in with a big attack soon. And let's go ahead, get that in. All right, let's see if we can knock out a couple people. And there we go, Rey and Qui-Gon Jinn, they are out. So if you're wondering why, I was very, very scared of relinquishing Royal Guard for my lineup. I've been using him since almost his rework. I had to farm him initially, right after his rework, but I've been using him ever since I got him. Even when he was like 4 stars, I was using him. He was so good. However, now with this whole AoE thing going on, I feel like his use has definitely diminished, but he does become very helpful in terms of like, for example, we have those droid squads still. He's very helpful against those droid squads, and I definitely do feel the difference without Royal Guard in those situations. But against these squads like Lando, so on and so forth, with Wedge, Biggs, he's not helping out too much. As you can see here, I don't even have Wedge and Biggs in my lineup. I have IG-88 and Lando and Anakin doing all the hard work pretty much, and they're having a hard time keeping up. I mean, I got a couple little punches from Anakin and Emperor Palpatine, but nothing that's phasing me too much. So let's go ahead, start to wrap this battle up here. Get the big boom. There we go. And he's gonna get another big boom in. So yeah, he got my Stormtrooper Honda. It was bound to happen. He got hit a couple times, but there we go. He's out. So what we're gonna do, because I want to make sure I get number 1, we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna cut the footage here, pop back in for the last, I don't know, 10 seconds or so. Let's finish the battle, we'll claim our rewards, and have a final conversation about this. So stay tuned for the final countdown. We are back from the stare down we gave to Palpatine, so let's go ahead and try to wrap this up. And bada bing, there we go. 1 attack, Palpatine's down. So let's go ahead, stay in number 1. Hopefully we can claim it for the next minute and get our rewards. But let's go ahead and just wrap up our conversation and just kind of give you some quick tips here. So we all know that Wedge was just recently added to the free-to-play player not too long ago. So you might not have him geared up. You might not even have him farmed like myself. I don't think I have a single shard of him yet. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I did get a couple from the when he was the character of the month a while ago. So he's definitely a great character. So, but if you can't have him in the meantime, Lando, I've recommended him at least since last month when Emperor Palpatine first came out. You should definitely get him. He's a great character just for your heist, and he is just absolutely fantastic for Arena. And in Galactic War, he just spams everyone to death. He keeps using the same attack over and over again. And with him and Palpatine and Anakin, Galactic War, I don't even think twice about it. I'm actually tempted just to fully auto it and see what happens. I just don't have that much trust in the computer in this game. But and then IG-88, he's a lot of people have him. If I don't have Biggs geared up, I don't have Wedge, so IG-88 serves it. He serves pretty well. He gets the bonus damage from Lando's mustache and his cape, so his AoE attack is pretty deadly, and the ability block comes in handy against characters like Stormtrooper Han and Qui-Gon Jinn, so he's also great if you need some AoE attacks. And then Anakin Skywalker, he's also, I mean, we did an in-depth review on him. He's pretty great, especially when paired with critical damage and critical chance mods. There's not much standing in his way here. So there we go. We got rewards, and let's see what the results show. And oh, that's the guild rewards, not that. Let's see if we can back out. And there we go. We got number 1. I was about to say, if I jumped from 1 to 6 in under a minute, something is wrong with this game. But we got number 1. So there you guys have it. Long story short, Wedge, Biggs, Lando, they are absolutely amazing. If you can't get that squad, there are plenty of other alternatives in this game to do super well in. So guys, stay tuned. Next episode, we are reviewing Stormtrooper. So in case you're wondering, with all these Empire characters coming out and with Emperor Palpatine making them useful, is Stormtrooper any good? Stay tuned for the next video and you will find out. Peace out.